And welcome to another Cardinals Nest. This is the show where we interview St. Mary's University student athletes and coaches to get their perspective on their seasons and being an athlete at St. Mary's. My name is Dean Beckman, the faculty athletics representative for the Cardinals. My co-host is soon-to-be Hall of Famer Donny Nadeau, our sports information director. And Donny, today, we are in season right now with baseball, softball. Well, now that I think about it, most of the spring and winter sports. But we've got a couple of baseball players today. We've got Zach Drake and Justin Weinberg. And we were chatting right before I started recording. And Justin's never been on before. That's kind of hard to believe, Donnie.
It is. That's our fault. Justin, we're officially apologizing for not having you
worry about it.
on the show. But both of you, thanks for being on. I'm very excited to talk some baseball, and you know, it's hard to believe that I keep struggling to remember that it's still March, because you know you guys have played 10 games in the Midwest in March, which is very rare. Usually you have 10 games in by now, but it's all been played down south. Welcome to the show, and let's get rolling. Zach, talk a little bit about the start of the season. You're 7-3 after 10 games. How are things going from your perspective?
Yeah, I think 7-3. We're happy with that. Obviously, we've been in a lot of close games. Our 3 losses have been very close games. It's kind of one of those things where you want to win every game, but being 7-3, there's nothing wrong with that. And we're starting to kind of turn it on a little bit and getting into the heart of the conference season. We're excited for what's coming up. So.
And Justin, I guess looking back, this is ironically, this is your 5th year. It's nice that you got that 5th, that extra year after missing out on last year. But talk a little bit. Go back to freshman year and then look forward, and 5 years later, here you are, a super senior, if you want to call it that. But talk a little bit about the crazy ride that you've been on for the last 5 years.
It's been absolutely crazy. I don't know. It's been a long journey. I just I compare of kind of what our team was like kind of when we first got here, Zach and I, and what impact the seniors had on me and what I try and have on the freshmen, and the culture that we bring and that we kind of keep throughout the years that have been here before. And no, we have a really special team this year. We're really excited for what we have. I've never been a part of a team quite this good before. Freshman year we had a lot of skill, but the gel wasn't there. But I really feel that there this year with everybody that we have, especially super seniors. It's really good to have that kind of veterans come back and be able to take the reins there too. It's really nice.
Well, and Justin, you talked about when you first came to St. Mary's. So take us back to that point. What attracted you to St. Mary's as far as academics and playing baseball go? Why did you choose St. Mary's? And tell us a little bit about that process and kind of your career in baseball leading up to that point. Zach, you can do it after Justin does too.
Mine's a little interesting. I went to Cretin-Derham Hall in the cities, which is fairly similar to St. Mary's actually, kind of as a school. I was really I really liked the smaller class sizes and the teachers. That school-wise was really what I looked for. I just wanted a lot of help academically, and St. Mary's had that for me. And then
don't forget about the funny professors too.
Exactly, and the great advisors I had here. But no, when I was looking at schools, Winnicke actually used to. He went to Cretin as well, so he has a lot of ties there, and he's actually been semi-coaching me since I was about 10 to 12 years old. My dad used to run camps at the school, and Winnicke would come and help us, and he used to always. I always tell this joke. He used to make us play quick catch when I was there. And we're about 10 to 12 years old. And he was telling us, he's like, I make my guys play this every single day at practice. This is how we get really good at playing like catch and just the little things. And I just remember whispering to a kid next to me, I'm like, there's no way they make these kids play catch like this every single day during practice. And then however, 8 years later, I'm doing it every single day, day in and day out, play catch as fast as I possibly can. But no, Winnicke was a big reason. TJ too. TJ's first year was when I was being recruited, so he was a big impact as well. But yeah, there was nothing really wrong with St. Mary's, and I've loved every second of it too.
And Zach, we'll get to you in a second, but I think, and this is true for both of you, your position versatility, I think, is crucial. One of the reasons that you were recruited, of course. Justin, you're really excelling now at catcher. I love watching you catch. I love watching you throw guys out at second base. You're exceptionally good at that. What other positions do you play, though?
Here is just mainly catching an outfield. I just, like you said, the versatility. I like to be more of like a utility player. So whenever people ask me where I play, I never was set on one strict position, because every team's different. Every team has certain holes that need to be fixed. And if you are a player that can fix these certain holes, I mean, your team is just going to get better and better. And that's just what Winicky and I have tried to do, is just certain holes that we have, especially catching an outfield, that we're able to fix together. And it really helps us in the long run too.
And Zach, you're an infielder, and you're from Westby, Wisconsin, right? Played for Viroqua High School. So kind of tell us about that and how and why you came to St. Mary's.
Yeah, so I came from a really small town, tight-knit community. And I guess you kind of see that a lot at St. Mary's. You walk by your professors every day, know you by name, which is, relationships is huge to me coming from a small city. And I thought St. Mary's emulated that very well. Like I said, people know you by your name. They're always asking how you're doing. School and baseball are really important, obviously, in our lives. But on top of that, just checking in. You always have people checking in on how you're doing in things other than school and baseball. Just, how you're doing as a person, and if everything's, going okay at home, and just stuff like that. It's just awesome. You're having a bad day and somebody is able to pick you up all the time. So,
Zach, talk a little bit about, because I always marvel at players like you, and with baseball and your team. I mean, you've got 55 guys on the roster this year, which is incredible. But when you started here, you weren't an everyday player, and you bided your time. And when you got the opportunity, you made the absolute most of it. And there's no way they can get you out of the lineup now. It's just not going to happen. But that's really important for people coming into, as freshmen or even as sophomores, that you got to make the most of your opportunity. And if you do, then Winicky's got a tough job, and he's got to figure out how to keep you in the lineup. And really, I think that you kind of emulate that. And right now, like I said, there's no way he's getting you out of the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Justin kind of talked about the versatility of it. And, my sophomore year, I got, I think, like 4 starts, and 2 of them were at third base. And then junior year, I kind of started to become kind of more of an everyday guy, but I was moving between shortstop and first base and second base. And then last year I was pretty much strictly playing second base, but you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's just, you got to be ready to go whenever your number's called. And, you work hard at practice every day, and coach watches everything that we do. You're naive to think that a coach doesn't. So I think a lot of our guys, it's not just me, work really hard at practice. And I think there's a lot of people that when they get their opportunity, they're going to make the most of it the same that I did. It's just one of those things where, like you said, you get in the lineup and you just, you try to do everything you can not to be taken out. And I've been, taking advantage of every opportunity that I can. But it's not just me. There's plenty of guys behind me that push me every day in practice. And like, I know that if I go down or somebody goes down in our lineup, there's plenty of guys behind us that can, fill our roles and keep this train flowing, which is, an awesome thing to have on the team.
Guys, how difficult is that? And I guess I'm asking both of you to be put into a different situation, but how difficult is it to be a player who, maybe gets a pinch hit once every other game, or maybe gets in late in an inning? Because your guys are all so cohesive, and everybody is a part of this success that you guys have, but that can't be easy when you're not playing, and really what you're doing is watching and cheering and trying to be supportive and pushing in practice. How difficult is that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what was the game before Gustavus?
Luther?
Luther, yeah. I think you look back at a game like Luther, where we made, I don't even know, in the fourth or fifth inning, we made like 7 or 8 changes, and just everybody just stepped up to the plate and just had great at bats, or people came in and pitched, or people went in and made plays on defense. And I mean, guys are just always ready. And we have so many good teammates on our team that, like, when guys get their opportunity, they're full of confidence and they're ready to go, because, you know, everybody in our dugout is constantly picking each other up, no matter if Justin has a good at bat, a bad at bat, like. And so I think from a teammate perspective, you know, obviously a lot of guys don't, we have 56 guys, a lot of guys, you know, get limited chances, but you saw it in like the Luther game, just how much depth we have and how guys are ready to go whenever you need them. Cause you never know when you're going to have a big at bat or a big inning or something like that. So,
You know, Dean, what's interesting is to have these two on the show today after yesterday. We split with Crown yesterday, and Zach's line read 5 for 7, 5 runs scored, 2 RBIs. And then you got Justin, who went 1 for 6, but had 4 RBIs. It was like, it's like the night and day of the two of you. Justin, I looked at the box scores. I'm like, 4 RBIs. I think every time you grounded out, somebody scored. It was like one of those games or double headers where you put the ball in play at the right time to do your job and get the runs across. How do you approach, talk to us a little bit about how you approach each at bat, both of you. I'm not a baseball player, but I'm curious, how do you approach an at bat, or how do you approach a game if you are struggling a little bit at the plate?
you can go.
My approach is overall usually the same. I have a fairly same approach to my pitch sequences that I'm looking for. I don't necessarily want to say exactly what I'm looking for, but
don't give away trade secrets.
Also, where you hit in the order has a lot to do with what comes up in front of you. Previously I've been a leadoff hitter a lot, so we've had some other guys step up too. So I've gotten bumped back down to the order to around number 3, and I've just been able to have a lot more places where I can put the ball in play and have people do something for me. So Zach was on second base yesterday, and he stole third, and I was down like 1-2 in the count, and he threw me an outside fastball. I knew that I needed to just get something on the barrel, because as soon as I hit a ground ball, Winnicky was going to send him around, and he wasn't going to stop him. They do not have very good fielding. They were not a very good defensive team. So me just being able to put the ball in play and knowing that Zach has the speed to get around and Winnicky's not going to stop him from going home, and to just kind of get a little cheap run like that really helps our team. And just being able to approach every situation differently. I've had a lot more runners on base with 1 out, and on first or second and third, I can do more of elevating fly balls, and that'll get a run in. If the infield's back, I'm fairly decent with my bat to get a ground ball, but mainly just trying to hit it hard until you kind of are down on the count a little bit. That's just what I focus on.
And Zach, yesterday you were in the 9 spot the first game.
Yeah.
And then lead off the second game. Does it matter to you where you are in the lineup?
No, I just, my approach is utilize the skill set that I have, which I have the God gifted ability to run. And so I like to, hit the ball on the ground and just be a tough out, base hit bunting, bloops down the line, try to extend those into doubles, stuff like that. Just, and then when you get on base, kind of be what my nickname is Dennis the Menace. So kind of try to be a menace out on the bases, try to take free bases and, get into scoring position for guys like Justin to come up and hit me in.
Hey, I want to quick touch base about with that Crown game on Monday. What was it like playing in that wind? I mean, that was a sustained wind that's kind of unusual for Winona. I know other parts of Minnesota have that more regularly, but we typically don't here in the Bluffs. That was a wild, crazy wind on Monday. What was that like playing in it?
You can talk about it.
It was not fun. Most of the year playing catcher, I haven't gotten many practices on the outfield, and then it's a whirlwind when I get out there. So I looked fairly foolish on one yesterday, but I thought the rest were semi okay. But
it was an adventure.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
it was mainly hitting though. Besides when I got runners on third or second and third with very few outs. I mean, I was not elevating anything, and the same with Zach. That's more of his game, but anything in the air was going to immediately get shot down. So that was a part of the plan was to keep it low for sure. But,
You know, we've talked a lot about offense, obviously, because you two are very, are key to the offense. Talk a little bit about your pitching staff, because I know TJ has put together quite the staff, and it's, I think as you had said earlier, Justin, that this is such a talented team. I think this is one of the deepest staffs that in the time that I've been here. I mean, it's not just one or two starters that you have that are rock solid. You guys are very deep from a pitching standpoint.
Yeah, I think, obviously the scary thing is that a lot of people kind of forget we have an All-American that hasn't thrown an inning yet. And that's no shade to anybody else, because obviously we have young guys that have stepped up and came in, and the pitching staff is, they're kind of our rock. So far this year, I mean, one game where they've given up a significant amount of runs, but we played 10 games, and sometimes the offense, has to score runs to win games. But we have a firm belief in our team that our pitching staff is going to put us in a chance to win every single game, and they've definitely proven that thus far. And we're going to rely on them moving forward, and they're going to rely on us to score runs. So,
as super seniors, as we're calling you guys, how important is your role? Because there are a lot of young guys on this team, not just necessarily freshmen, but sophomores too. What do you see your role kind of as you get ready to pass that torch and kind of lead this team, but also make sure that everybody's on the same page?
Sure. I don't know. I guess the biggest thing is, like, obviously we love to play baseball and we love to win games, but we didn't come back to do that. We came back to spend time with everybody. And that was the biggest thing that, sucked last year, is obviously our goal is to win a national championship, just the same as every other team in the nation. But you look around at the other MIAC schools who didn't bring a whole lot of guys back. And I think that just says a lot about the team that we have and what the program means to us outside of just playing baseball. And I think that's what we want to pass on, is that, it's great playing and it's great winning games, but at the end of the day, you're spending time with your best friends every day, and that kind of trumps everything else. So that's, why we came back, and that's kind of the torch that we want to pass.
Kind of jumping around, but has you guys were in on the beginning of the clubhouse. Has it gotten old?
No. Oh, we had to get rid of the ping pong table though because of COVID, so that was a damper. And we're not really allowed to hang out in there anymore. So besides that, no, it's a blessing every single day to be able to have that on campus, and I don't think that's ever going to get old. So
I kind of figured you were going to say that, but I had to ask it anyway.
No chance.
Well, we've been having fun, but Donnie, should we have even more fun by getting to some of our questions here?
And we're going to start with one that isn't even on there.
Okay.
I want both of you to tell us what your walk-up song is and why you chose that song.
Okay. Mine is Energy by Drake.
Oh, gee.
So it kind of goes, I'm not going to sing it, but it goes, I have enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy. And I think for me, it's very fitting, just because, like, to be honest, Donnie, you probably know this better than Dean, but I don't really care what people think of me. That's kind of the chip on my shoulder. So just being able to walk up to something, that kind of reminds you of, to be chippy and not to really care what people think. That's mine. It's by Drake. I've had Drake all 4 years, kind of just like a salute. I have to. So it's just fun.
Mine was kind of an autofill from last year. I didn't remember which one I picked, but mine are usually Biggie songs, Notorious B.I.G., Big Papa. I personally like it because it's just kind of like what Zach was saying, the confidence that it brings me personally, just the swagger that you need to have, the I'm better than you mentality kind of when I'm at the plate, just gives you a little bit of a little confidence boost when you get up there. Like, this guy's got no chance against me. That's just kind of the mentality I have to have when I'm facing somebody. Like, they have no chance of beating me. You know, if I'm gonna mess up, it's gonna be on me. I'm not gonna let them beat me. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So that's what it gives me. I do care a little bit of what other people think I do. Not that much though. So
Donnie, I too am going to go a little off script,
All right.
but this one is just for Zach. Zach, what are you going to do when you hit your first career home run?
You know what? I've never even really thought about it because honestly, I'm being realistic. I mean, unless we're playing Luther and Andy Tepp has another snow fence that he can hit it over, and I hit that too, there's probably a pretty good chance that it's never going to happen.
Hey, what if we have a wind like yesterday, but it's blowing the other direction? Never know.
You know what, Dean? I'm still not going to give myself a great chance to hit one out of the park.
Okay. Justin, what did you do? You hit 2 last year, right? So what did you do when you hit your first? I think those are your first 2, correct?
my first 2, yeah.
What did you do with the first one?
They were like kind of night and day. I was fairly excited for the first one. The second one I was like, whatever.
I do this all the time.
The first one, I might have said something to the shortstop when I was running by. I was feeling pretty good about myself. But no, it was a good feeling. It was good. But I think Zach could get one. You never know. We got some short fences. St. Thomas is only like 280 down the line. You never know. You pull.
What about McAllister?
McAllister is also.
We've never played there.
Yeah, we've also.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, you're probably lucky too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are on a road trip, and you have to stop to eat. Where's your go-to place to stop?
Mine's Chick-fil-A every time.
I usually would just get like Krispy Kreme donuts because they're not in Minnesota anymore, and those are my favorite thing to possibly get on a road trip. But that or Cane's, I guess. Whenever I go home, Cane's is the first thing I get. Not Chick-fil-A though.
All right. Donnie had asked you about walk-up music. I'm going to ask you about pregame music. Let's say you get to choose, and just you get to choose the pregame warm-up music. Zach, what artist or band will appear multiple times?
You can pretty much ask Justin this because that's all he does is make fun of me for it. He says I listen to 2 artists ever only, and that's Drake and Morgan Wallen. So
Okay.
I will both of them.
All right. And Justin, how about your answer?
Mine, I don't really have a preference. I could care less. I don't usually listen to music before games.
Okay.
I guess my dad used to be my high school coach, and he always play like 90s and 80s rock music. So that's what
That's what Donnie and I like too.
Right. You got to tell Mac Whaley we need a little more of that 80s and 90s music.
Yeah, maybe I'll have one of those as a walk-up song next game.
All right. If you could pick any person, any athlete, any time that you would like to just sit down and talk sports with, who would you pick?
Man, this is such a hard question.
Yeah.
Anytime, any era.
Anybody.
Probably Tiger Woods. Do I need to like explain it or?
Sure. Why Tiger?
I mean, when he had that course of like winning all the time, I would just be kind of like, I'd want to pick at his mind about what that was like. Just like being able, like when other guys see you in a tournament and they know that they have no chance of winning. And likewise, when you step onto the first tee and you know, like, yeah, I'm going to win this golf tournament probably by 10 strokes, just what that feeling is like and how you get there. And just one of the most dominant athletes of our time and fun to watch. So,
Justin,
yeah, I was also probably gonna say that, but my second guess, my second one, I would probably say Tom Brady. Again, I guess just the dominance that he's had, and I've got my own personal questions on how he does some things, but I want to know just what it takes to do what he's done at that level. I mean, there's so much that you can learn from somebody like that. And somebody from like Tiger that people might not see from like all the cameras and stuff behind the scenes. I just would want to know some things.
Is Tiger and then TB your favorite athlete as well for each of you, or is there a different person that's been kind of your favorite athlete?
I'd probably have to go with McGregor as my favorite athlete right now. And just the last couple of years, just what he's done for the whole sport of fighting in general, and just what he also brings to his to how he develops his craft and how he presents himself to the public, and just the way that he goes about his just everything that he does has been really fun and cool to watch, and been able to take a lot of key things from him, I feel like, that have helped me too.
Mine's probably LeBron. Obviously he's just like a very good basketball player, but on top of that, he's kind of changed the mentality of like being a professional athlete and kind of using, his platform as, creating a school and donating money and just, kind of whether you believe in the stuff he says or not, it just kind of shows like how much influence he has on people. And, he has such a big stage and he always does the right thing. And so I think that's obviously something probably a lot cooler than just being really, really good at what he does.
All right, Donnie, you ask one more and then I'll ask one more.
Well, the one I'm going to ask is, this year we did that little, just kind of a 4-question, kind of a little thing for all the seniors talking about, about specific things. And I asked all of you baseball players for your favorite coach story, and 90% of them had to do with Dairy Queen. So I just want one of you to explain the Dairy Queen story. Now I know it, of course, but I want one of you to just explain it.
Okay. So we had just beat, like, I don't know what they were ranked, 14th or something. We kind of throttled them, honestly. And coach was pumped up and he said, like, you know what? He's in the pregame huddle or the postgame huddle afterwards. He's like, you know what, guys? We're going to Dairy Queen to get some ice cream. So we were like, okay, sweet. Like, we were pumped. Ice cream on coach probably tastes better than normal ice cream. And we all pack in the vans and we're going. And he takes the wrong turn because he was set in stone that he knew where the Dairy Queen was. And he goes the opposite way. And TJ, we had it, like, I was in TJ's van and coach as the leader, and we had it mapped up. So we knew where we were going, and coach took the wrong turn. And then he calls TJ and he's like, yeah, we're not getting Dairy Queen anymore. So we were literally all just like, come on, man.
I was so mad.
That's pretty classic.
He owes you. He owes you.
Winnicky story. That is a Winnicky story right there. We're just not getting it. No.
No, the worst part was like, dude, just Google Maps it. It takes like 2 seconds. And he's like, nope, I know where it is. I know where I'm going. It's like, come on.
All right, real quick for each of you, you're stuck on a deserted island. Zach, I'm going to ask you, who would you most like to be stuck with, say, for 3 months? And then Justin, who would you least like to be stuck with for 3 months? So Zach, who would be the ideal teammate to be stuck with for 3 months? So it's got to be a teammate.
Okay, do I have like necessities like water and
Yeah, you'll be able to eat and live. Absolutely.
Oh man. Probably Brandon Hafman, no doubt.
Okay.
Mini Muggins. Yeah.
Why is that? Why?
Well, if we don't have to like go out and get food and stuff like that, the kid is just flat out probably the funniest person I've ever met.
Okay, all right.
3 months is a very long time.
You're going to need some humor to get through it, right? All right.
And I'm going to need somebody that keeps me on my toes, and he's probably the perfect guy to do that.
All right, Justin, we got just a minute left. Real quick, who's the least likely teammate you want to be? Zach, why Zach?
I don't know. The kid's been my roommate since I don't know how long. I mean, I can't get rid of him. I feel like
you've lived enough with him. Is that it?
If he's on a deserted island, he's not surviving 3 months. I'll tell you that.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, guys, we're out of time, but we really appreciate your time today spending with us, and good luck here the rest of the season.
Guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for Cardinals Nest. Thanks for watching.